To tell you what sort of helped me stay in the game was the fact that I didn't stop uploading content. So I'm my content blogs and I might not be friends, but we are colleagues. We stand each other. Hello! Hi Suchin. Hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you so much for joining us. And joining us during a shoot. Can I just say this is one of the coolest sessions we've done?
I'm actually sitting in my van right now. I just finished a shot and I was like, guys, I gotta go for an hour. I'm gonna be back. And I'm in my van right now.
So the name of this session is, of course, Always Trending. Does that term annoy you at this stage? Do people just expect you to always be trending and viral and things like that?
Truly, to be honest with you, Suchin, I don't think it ever annoyed me because it's always a happy bonus. You know, when you're trending, it's great. When you're not trending, then you're working towards a video or a piece of content that might just take off very soon. And I feel like that's about it. But no, it doesn't annoy me at all.
That's good to know. And you obviously are the big YouTube sensation. But more recently, you know, it feels like a lot more of your focus is on acting. So I really want to start there. I think I said this to you the last time we spoke. It really feels like you have condensed a 10-year acting career into a year and a half. You started with your short film, Hayati Pulao. Then you're the star of your Netflix series, Mismatched. Season 2 is currently being shot. And obviously there is also your big Thalma film, Chuk Chuk Jio. So yeah, it really feels like you have done what people aim to do very fast. So it must be a very exciting time.
It's very exciting, and I feel like my journey as a content creator has been sort of a very strong foundation for these opportunities to come my way. I mean, I am very well aware of the fact that everything stems from the fact that YouTube and Instagram sort of gave me a platform to perform, to be visible, to put out content, is why everything that comes that's above and beyond the content that I organically make, I think is just such a happy bonus. It's such a you know, it's amazing. That's what it is. I don't know the word for it, but it's amazing. I mean, I'm having the time of my life. I always loved watching content. I've loved the movies. I've grown up a very filmy kid, and the fact that I get to live a life where I get to come to set every day, work with the most amazing people, co-actors, directors, overall everyone, just the best production houses. I get to do these characters that I am so in love with. I think just is, you know, I always say this, I say I'm living my best life and I have the best job. So it's amazing.
But, you know, speaking of characters, I really want to know how, because a lot of your work on YouTube is those skits and sketches.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know how much being a content creator prepares you for life as an actor, because essentially, even with YouTube, what you are doing is you're writing, you're creating characters, you're performing. Yeah. So do you feel that really readies you for a life as an actor for movies and streaming and things like that?
For sure. I think, you know, but I started performing very early on in life. I remember, I think I was 5 or 6 when I went on stage for the first time. I used to love dancing. I remember going on stage and just feeling invincible. I was like, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I used to, you know, I can never forget that rush you get when you're standing in the wings right before you go on stage. And I got addicted to that. When you're standing right before you go on stage, or when you're standing right before action, you know, you're standing on your mark. I feel like that rush that you get is extremely addictive. And that's when I knew. So I used to perform a lot as a dancer. In college, I started hosting a lot on stage. I started doing theater for the first time in college. I was in the college theater group. And that was my first sort of encounter with being an actor, because, you know, like I said, I've grown up such a filmy kid. I used to always imitate scenes in front of the mirror when I was a child. So I always thought that this is great till I did theater, and I was like, oh, it's a whole process. It's very different, you know, it's very different from what you think it could be or it would be. I think theater, 3 years of theater that I did in college, which was very basic, nothing too extraordinary, but I think that taught me a lot about what I do right now. I had a year and a half, almost not a year and a half, a year in radio because I wanted to be a radio jockey. That taught me a lot to be a performer. And I think YouTube just sort of gave me the liberty to use everything I thought I could use to become a performer. So I think it has just been a really long process in the making.
You know, speaking of being a performer, walk us through what a week in your life looks like right now. Because, you know, ever since acting has taken off, how much of your time and focus now goes into auditioning, acting, and shooting versus YouTube and content creation?
That's the best thing. Not one day at work looks like another. I was talking to a friend the other day. I said it's so exciting that one day I am shooting, the other day I'm editing. Life is very different on the sked though. Now that I'm on a month-long sked in Rajasthan, it's very different and it's very exciting for me because it's a complete break from how my life is back home right now. So a week in my life would be shooting every day. Yeah. Most days it's 12-14 hour shifts every day, 12-hour shifts. We reach an hour and a half early for hair, makeup, and messing around here and there, chilling in each other's vans, getting breakfast or lunch in place. And then it's just going, performing, coming back, getting into hair and makeup. And at the end, also on Mismatched, it's one of my favorite things about this sked is that all of us get along really, really well. We're all very tight. We really like each other. So all of us, it's just a whole big party. When you're on set, when you're off set, when you're back, we're all living together in the same hotel. We're all neighbors. So we're always chilling with each other. So I love being on sked. I mean, it's very nice. But so yeah, that's how a week right now is. But otherwise, back home, not one day is like another. Some days I'm shooting, some days I'm shooting content for myself, or some days I'm shooting content for other things. I'm writing, I'm editing, or I'm traveling. I miss that a lot. But yeah, it's very, very different. And I think that is what keeps the excitement up.
So does YouTube then take a back seat? Are you going to do what The Rock did and do a direct switch over? Do you try and keep both worlds alive? How do you balance the two?
So right before I flew here, and this is a lesson I learned when I was shooting Mismatched season 1. I remember while we were shooting season 1, I constantly kept shuffling cities because I had to go back and shoot content for YouTube and come back. And I just realized that it gets extremely exhausting. Yeah. So this time what we did was, because I knew I was going to be away for about 50 days, we actually built a set and booked a place for 5 days, and I've shot close to 24 videos in 5 days.
Wow.
And I have
24.
So right before I flew for Jodhpur, I have banked content till the end of November because I know I'm going to shoot the film right after this is done and life is going to be very, very hectic. And I do not want YouTube content to get compromised because I know that is the mothership. That is where all these opportunities are stemming from. So I want to make sure that is always my first priority.
That is insane. 24 videos in 5 days.
I have no clue how I did it. I think 100% of this credit for this goes to my team because I was literally a zombie. Like 2 weeks before flying to Rajasthan, I was the Walking Dead. I used to just reach wherever I had to reach. I used to just say the things I was asked to say and then just move on. I think my team really held it together for me to be able to pull something like that off.
I think I can just about watch 24 videos in 5 days, but that's very impressive. But YouTube for you started in 2015, if I'm not wrong. So in terms of the mothership and making these videos, what has really changed in how you go about making the average video? Is it the same where you think of an idea, you write, shoot, edit, or how much has that process changed for you as things have changed?
A lot has changed actually. I remember when I started making content, it was just me. Although I started with One Dish Entertainment, who handle my life right now and have everything down. Although I started with them and I knew that I had help. They had a team of editors, they had a production team that could help me shoot. However, when I started off, I used to sort of like doing it all by myself. I used to like writing it, shooting it, editing it. I used to send it to them to upload it. And I was very possessive about these processes because I felt like, because it's my mind baby, I will know exactly how it's supposed to be shot or edited. I think about 2-3 years into it, I started realizing that I am losing perspective because everything is just in my head. I'm not getting newer perspective. I'm not getting fresher views towards content. And that is why I started letting go of one process at a time. So I started letting go of the edits first. Then I started letting go of the production, where then the team started shooting. So over the past more than 6 years now, it has changed completely. It's nothing like it used to be before. Also creatively, I think a lot has changed because now I have a very efficient team of writers that I sit down and jam with, which has always been a dream. Honestly, I never thought that I would ever reach a place where I would have a team of writers working for Mostly Sane. It's just because how it's just one mind before, and you want to look up, because I've also grown up looking up to AIB, looking up to TVF, and you had all these big channels who had teams working, and so it was very aspirational for me. So now that I have that, I'm very, very grateful for it. And I get to work with the most amazing people again. I'm so grateful for that. So now it's very, very different, where now we sit down, we have about meetings every few days where we sit down and we jam, we write down a bunch of ideas, and then over the next few weeks we develop them, and then we shoot it the way we shot those 24 videos, so we can use the rest of the weeks for other projects that we are working.
Like a very tight ship. No, but I'm curious to know, is it the same with acting? Because you talked about sort of moving away from each of those processes. Because even with acting, now the script is somebody else's, the edit, you're there just for that character. So was that tough as well to go from being a one woman army to being a part of a bigger project?
Yeah, I remember, although Khayali Pulao came out first, Mismatched was my first official set. I shot Mismatched before I shot Khayali Pulao. Dimple was the first time I was on set, and I remember feeling jitters because Dimple was the first character I was playing that I didn't write. And that was very nerve-wracking for me, because I was like, but like, how do I know like what she's feeling, how she's doing, like where did she come from, where is she going, what is her thought process like? But I think that lasted a day, because when I met my directors, when we jammed with the writers, I realized that the writing team and the direction team had done such a wonderful job at sketching this beautiful character out, and it was served to me on a platter. I knew exactly who she is, I knew exactly where she came from, and that just made life extremely simple. And it's also very liberating as a shift, because then suddenly I don't have to worry. Because I also remember on the first season, every time I gave a shot, because I was so used to doing that while shooting YouTube, I would go to the monitor and be like, may I see it? And I was just like, I realized that this is going to keep getting hectic after every take that I give. So like, I learned so much on the first season, and now it's just, I love the fact that I just have to reach, get into hair and makeup, know my lines, and go and perform. And everyone who's great at what they do, the direction team, the production team, the writers, have everything else handled.
I have to say, Dimple is such an endearing character. It's one of those shows that you have to love the main character to be invested in, and you really do with her. So,
Little too Sadhu though, I've always said this. I just feel like so many people are like, oh, do you relate? I said, yeah, I relate, but she doesn't smile that often.
But I feel like that's the show, like her slowly coming out of her shell. So seeing more of that. But even with YouTube, I was thinking about it earlier today, and is YouTube sustainable for someone who is a top creator? Because I was thinking about how, in terms of Lily Singh or BBK Vines, after they hit a certain level of popularity, you tend to branch out, you go into acting, filmmaking, singing, etc., TV. So is that because YouTube isn't sustainable in the long run for someone who's really made it? I'm just curious to know, or is it because they get excited by other things? Why do you think that is?
I think YouTube, not just YouTube, overall the internet just opens up all these exciting avenues. You would just be stupid not to explore them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've always said this, it's not like every day for the past 6 years, I have woken up saying, oh, I'm going to do this so I can sign a film in the future.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I'm going to do this so I have a Netflix show to do. I have woken up, and every opportunity that came my way sort of came through the work that I was already putting out anyway, organically. So I think the internet opens up all these massive avenues for you, which are very, very exciting. I think the fact that platforms are merging into each other, we don't have like right now, if you look at content, it's a pool of content. It's not like, oh, this is a Bollywood film, so it's only going to be in theaters. No, it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon Prime, it is on Hotstar. Everything's just merging into each other. Right now, content is content, because people are consuming it on their phones and on their laptops. So I think when something like this, I think it's a major shift that has happened digitally, especially for our country. And I think that is why all the branching out happens, because I know creators who have done this for 10 years, who have done this ever since YouTube started, and it has done very, very well for them.
Yeah.
Also, how to predict.
Yeah.
None of us saw YouTube or the internet or digital platforms overall becoming such a massive thing 3 years ago. The whole geo revolution happened. Suddenly internet was affordable, it was easily accessible. None of us saw this boom happening where we'll reach out to places we can't even point out on the map. So for me, at least, it has not been a conscious decision at all, because I didn't see this coming. I couldn't predict this. If you ask me right now, where do I see myself in the next 2 years? I have no clue. I have absolutely no clue.
And it's not a bad position to be.
I'm very grateful.
But what do you feel is that what you feel has changed most in terms of YouTube over the last 5 years? That what you're saying about, I guess, the walls between what is Netflix and what is theatrical and YouTube all crumbling? Or what do you think has changed most as a creator on YouTube? What's changed most since you started?
I think we definitely have more eyeballs on it. Consumption has just boomed.
Yeah.
The fact that there is an audience for everything is very, very empowering as a creator. There is an audience for everything. I remember when I started off, we had genres, right? We had, oh, are you a comedy creator? Are you a music creator? Are you a dance creator? Do you cook? Do you do DIYs? Do you do fashion? Do you do makeup? You know, do you do travel? Now there are no lines, there are no genres. It's not like if I am doing fashion, I cannot do comedy. Everybody's trying different things. Everyone's sort of merging into each other's spaces and collaborating. And I feel like that's just bringing out such beautiful content because it's being consumed. If you can have millions of views on, you know, videos that are just hour-long videos of people eating. You know, there's mukbang happening, which was again something nobody saw, nobody knew. There's all kinds of, you know, strange, weird things happening on the internet that are getting great consumption. Yeah. Also, I think creator-wise, maybe a few years ago we had like a pyramid where, you know, the more numbers you have, the higher you are on the food chain.
Yeah.
But it's not true anymore because of the reach. I feel like honestly, it's a globe now because one person's top could be other person's bottom. Like right now, I could have 6.3 million followers on YouTube, but there's a big chunk of the country that does not know I exist.
Yeah.
But they will know the creators who have organically come locally, and they will go to them. So if I have to have influence on these cities, I'm not going to be the one doing a good job. It's going to be them. So they're the winners there because it doesn't matter how many numbers I have. They have the impact and the reach. So I just feel like numbers are great, but I think I've made my peace with the fact that right now engagement is bigger than numbers.
Yeah.
You know, you could have millions of followers, but if you don't have the reach and the impact and the conversations, then the numbers are not really going to do much for you. So it's not, you know, you can't even, how do you decide which creators be?
Yeah.
You're not even in a space to make that call because the audience decides.
So there's space for everyone.
There is space for everyone and more people.
And I know you said you don't like predicting, but for all the creators who have either just started or started in the last 1 year, what do you see the next few years looking like? Do you feel like you said, it's only going to expand, the consumption will increase? Do you think it's an exciting time for a creator starting today?
For sure. I mean, it's not like it's stopping anytime soon.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things. It's a wave. Do you want to swim it? Do you want to surf it? Yeah. You don't have an option, you know? If you want to be a creator, if there is ever a better time, it's right now. You know, don't think about it. I mean, I so many viewers meet me and they're like, you know, we want to start right now, but there's so much competition. And I was like, yeah, there's more competition than there was 2 years ago, but there's going to be more 2 years down the line. So if there's ever a time, it's now. And for me, honestly, if there are any creators right now in our audience, you know, competition online genuinely doesn't make sense to me at all. And I'm not saying this because I'm like, oh, you know, I'm above all of that. I'm genuinely saying that it doesn't make sense at all to me, because how do you compete with a creator who's not like you? You know, it is just one of those things. So if there's ever a time, it's now, because it's getting better and better every day.
Everyone has their own voice.
For sure, yeah.
And if you look at where you are today, you know, you've built this insane following, this body of work as a content creator. Do you ever think of or worry about the fact of maintaining your following? Built it. So do you ever worry about, you know, is it about consistency, you know, to make sure that your following is happy with the content you're putting out? Is that ever a pressure on you?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it a pressure, but I would call it a constant thought. But I think eventually every creator finds their groove with it. For me, I'm very fortunate because my audience is extremely vocal with me. I take a lot of pride in the fact that I never speak at my audience. I speak to them and they speak back. And I feel like that is what has carved mostly Sane as a channel over the past few years. It has made a huge difference to how I have grown as a creator, as a performer, and even as a person for that matter. So for me, it is always about meeting midway. I mean, I know that there are certain pieces of content that might work more than what I create. But I think for me, the balance is to meet midway with what I like creating and I have fun creating and what my audience has fun watching. I think that is a relationship that I'm trying to maintain. And it's a week-to-week struggle. Some days I hit the nail on the head. Some days I miss completely. And I feel like that's okay. That's a part of the process. I signed up for it. But it's never a pressure. I'm never worried about it. I am concerned and I'm very mindful of it because I know that is what is keeping the ship afloat.
Yeah.
But it's not a pressure.
But what do you do when the ideas don't come? What do you do when, you're trying to crack an idea and it's just not happening? You have a certain ritual you follow. Do you just give it space? How do you navigate that?
So I remember I hit my first content block in 2017 and I was flying. Every week I had like a million ideas and I was so happy about the fact I said I can do this for the rest of my life. Till about like mid 2017, I just hit a mad block and it was my first one and I freaked out. I was like, okay, then I guess I have to shut the challenge, shut the channel now, because then what am I going to do with my life? It's not going to work out. One thing that sort of kept me afloat, I remember when I had hit that block, the day I was going to have a meeting with my team saying I want to shut the channel, I can't keep doing this anymore. That was on a Friday. The meeting was on a Friday. I had a video upload on Thursday. And I have been a little anal about the fact that I never want to miss video days.
Yeah.
Ever since I started, I was like, I never want to miss video days. So I was like, okay, fine. It's the last video probably because I'm going to have that meeting tomorrow. So why not just like upload whatever script I have? I had a script lying in my laptop, which was too tough to shoot. So I was just very lazy to shoot it. But because I didn't have a better idea, I shot that video. That video was called People on Family WhatsApp Groups. That video picked up so well. Then the video after that picked up. Then the video after that picked up. And my channel went from being, I think, at a 200,000 mark to 500,000 in December, to 1 million in March, to 2 million in June, to 3, to 4, to 5. And now we're at 6. And that meeting never happened, luckily. But I think to answer your question, to tell you what sort of helped me stay in the game was the fact that I didn't stop uploading content.
Yeah.
I feel like if I would have stopped, I would have lost the groove. And it's very different for different people. Some people sort of like to take a step back, evaluate, and then come back stronger. I feel like if I stop the process, it's harder for me to get back.
What was the lesson for you from the family WhatsApp? Was it about consistency, or was it that you never know what's going to work? So just
you never know what's going to work. You really never know what's going to work. You could put your heart and soul into a piece of content and that tanks. And then there'll be a video you put that you didn't even like in the first place and that just flies. It is crazy. Which is why I'm saying that makes it even more unpredictable. You know what I'm saying? Ki how tum kaise decide karoge? कैसे बोलोगे कि चलो मैंने ये करना है एज अ क्रिएटर और मैं इस तरह के वीडियोस ही अपलोड करूंगी या करूंगा और मैंने अगले 2 साल में ऐसे यू डोंट नो पता चले तुम्हारे अगले 4 वीडियोस ऐसे चल जाए कि जो तुम्हारा 2 साल का टारगेट था यू हिट दैट इन अ वीक देन व्हाट डू यू डू
Does that keep it exciting for you as a creator that even at this stage you really don't know and so you never know?
Yeah, it's very exciting. Ignorance is bliss. You know what I'm saying? I feel like honestly for me right now I've stopped giving myself stress on the fact that, oh, is this something that is working? Should I add these? Like, should I make it try? I'm just like, you know what? Let's just create content and have fun and listen to what your audience is saying. I think that is where most of my learnings come from, because like I said, my audience tells me what they like, what they don't like, what they want to watch. And I think listening really helps as a creator.
And what about writing? Because, before you had your writing stuff, you and writing team, you were writing everything yourself. I'm guessing that's something you also enjoy. So obviously now you're an actor. Have you ever considered, writing something that you'd want to create?
So I do write. I still do write. I don't publish it anymore. I have a blog. It's called moslysane.in, where I have a few articles that are up. I have a bunch of other articles that I've written. But again, writing for me, away from comedy, away from what I've typically done for the channel, I think is a very, very personal project. Also, it's a passion project. Like, it's not something that I can do on command.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I'll have days when I'll write like 12 articles in 2 days, and then I'll have days where for 2 years I'll not write anything. Like, it's one of those things. It's very unpredictable. But yeah, I mean, I like writing. If y'all like reading blogs, I have tiny articles. You should check it out.
Would Would you ever want to write something for yourself to act in for the big screen or for Netflix or something like that? Does that excite you at all?
I mean, I would love to, but we have the most beautiful writers in the business right now.
Yeah.
People who are doing mad work, and I don't think I can ever be even half as close to that.
I was going to talk to you about influence because you really have such a massive following. And you have always used your voice to sort of back campaigns. You've talked about education and body image and things like that. But was there a specific moment or specific video that suddenly made you realize that, holy shit, the things I create and the things I think really have an impact on people? Was there ever a turning point for you which made you realize that I actually have an impact on my audience?
Yeah, 2016, October. When I remember on the internet, there were conversations around mental health coming up, and so everybody was talking about it. And it was Mental Health Month, and I was like, you know what, I want to make a video about this. So I remember making a video called I Pledge to Be Me, where I did a call out to my audience saying, hey, here's an email ID. And if you feel like you want to just vent, you can write and send your emails, and you can tell me if you want me to read them or not read them, whatever. Use it as your emotional dump. It's fine. Like, nobody else from the team is ever going to have access to it. It's just going to be me. And I was like, okay, I might get a few emails here and there. And I remember in the following week, we got close to 8,000 emails. Wow. And I was blown away. I was like, what? And a lot of them were sort of stringed together around body image issues being connected to depression issues or anxiety. And like I had very young girls mailing me about how they are, like I had a 9-year-old, 11 or a 9-year-old girl telling me that she's suicidal because her parents say she's fat and she's dark skinned, so nobody's ever going to marry her. And I just remember feeling that at that time, the conversations around this was very one-sided. It was always, when I tried to look at content, I mean, obviously there were more. I didn't look at everything that was online, but yeah. I remember most of the things that I saw, were always, you should do this and you should do that. And I was like, I don't know if I'm in a position to give advice, because honestly, I've not lived the lives that so many other people who are sort of like writing to me have lived. How do I make a conversation about this without making it preachy, or without making it, without me telling them what to do? Growing up, I hated the fact that I was very skinny. I used to hate everything on me. I was very fashion conscious. And I get why, because my favorite pair of pants in college were orange cargos with 8 pockets, which is just wrong. Nobody should be put through something like that. So I grew up a very insecure, like I had borderline body issues. So I remember sitting down with the team, and I was like, I want to write a song. I want to do a rap song. And it's going to be called Shameless, because we're going to take the shame away from people who shame us. And the team was like, that's amazing, write it. I wrote it, I put it up. So I think the first call to action video that I did sort of told me that, oh, it's not just me talking into my camera, it's people speaking back at me. And that means that there is more to it than I have estimated for so long.
Was that a strange feeling to know that I came to the internet to have fun and to make funny videos, and suddenly there is a real impact I'm having in a very different way? Did it change how you thought about it?
I think it empowered me to make more conversations. I remember Shameless and I Pledge to Be Me had such a domino effect on my entire life as a creator, and I'm still seeing the effects of that. The fact that I get to be a part of a documentary with Michelle Obama for girls' education comes from that. The fact that I get to take my work and present it at the United Nations comes from that. The fact that I get to speak at all these massive platforms internationally comes from the fact that conversation started 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Michelle Obama, so I'm just going to ask, do you have like a wish list of people? Because you've obviously met Michelle Obama as part of the initiative. You've Skyped with Ed Sheeran a couple of weeks ago. What's next? Is it like TikTok with Kanye? Like, do you have like a
wish list? No. I really don't have a list like that. I really, really don't. Can I just say I want to do it with, I just want to collaborate with everybody.
So Meryl Streep, if you're watching, please just make
Oh my God. Hi, Meryl. No, everyone. That's the thing about being a creator, right? Everybody is so different from each other. How do you choose? How do you say that, oh, this person I want to do it with and that person I don't want to collaborate with? How do you even choose at all? It's crazy. You can't. So I just want to do as many collaborations as I can and do it around the world. It'll be a lot of fun.
I guess that's one of the, again, another very exciting part of this life, that you never know who you're going to meet and have to work with.
Yeah, like I remember Sudeep calling me saying, "Hey, guess what? We're going to talk to Ed Sheeran tomorrow." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Okay then, all right." I'll wear my best shirt.
That's the call we all want one day. Everyone takes Sudeep's number.
When it comes to your personality, like when it comes to Instagram, or when it comes to your YouTube videos, or even Mismatch for that matter, like your performance never seems forced. It always felt natural. So like, what part of your own personality off screen, whether it be the positive or negative parts, like what part of that do you bring into these that helps you?
I think Instagram and YouTube is exactly how I am in life. My so many people, they're like, yeah, nobody's that happy also. And I'm like, what is your problem, man? Let me live. Like, so many people are like, is it like, do you put that like character on? Like, because you seem extremely happy all the time. I said, yeah, well, I am. So it's very much the same thing. Yeah, like YouTube, Instagram, online, offline, it's pretty much the same thing. I have my low days. I have days when I am not feeling 100%. I had a tough morning today also. But I choose to stay away from Instagram and sort of process that and then come back, because I also understand that the fact that I have reach also means that I have effect on people. And my way of looking at it is that maybe someone's having a great day and I don't want to kill their buzz because I didn't have a good one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I choose to upload that, but obviously there are all kinds of different emotions I go through. But most of the times I'm a little annoyingly happy all the time. Mismatched, on the other hand, I feel like that's a character. So that's written and constructed and I'm playing that. But I'm pretty much the same online and offline.
Okay, so I mean, like I remember you had done this one video. I'm not exactly able to remember the name, but it was something about hopeful. I think it was probably the one where you were talking about how you wanted to shut the page and then
Yeah.
I think it was that. And honestly, I don't remember, but I think I also was having a really bad day that day, and I saw that video and I felt far more hopeful after that. So I mean,
I'm so glad. Thank you, Arya. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm wearing your merch, by the way.
Oh my God, you're wearing the purple sweatshirt. I feel so stupid for not wearing it to this, man. Oh no. Hi, you look good.
I'm a huge fan. I'm from the Dum Dum Army.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much.
My question is, when you decide, when you prepare content for Mostly Sane, do you ever take a perspective from a third person outside your team to stay relevant, to stay interesting, fun?
No, but I should. That's a very good suggestion. Because I have a team and I go to everybody and I'm like, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? But I think it's a great suggestion that I should also reach out to people outside of the team. I'm going to make a note of that. I appreciate this, friend. Thank you
so much.
Thank you, Harshita.
Thank you so much.
Hi. I would just like to start by saying that, of course, all of us here are massive fans. And thank you for being one of the Indian creators we've all looked up to and related and kind of gotten the big sister advice from.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and my question for you is, now that you have received all these massive opportunities and obviously there's just more in store, do you ever feel like maybe you'd reach a level of saturation with YouTube and creating content that you normally do? And what are your thoughts about that?
Oh, I reach that all the time. I have just made peace with the fact that I will. I keep hitting content blocks. I keep hitting monotony. I keep hitting saturation every now and then. But I've just come to peace with the fact that I think it's just a part of being a creator, and not just online, but I feel like if you're in any kind of creative field or even otherwise, honestly, it is just impossible to expect to do well all the time. And that's okay. You figure it out on the way. I feel like giving it too much thought messes it up even more for you. So my content blocks and I might not be friends, but we are colleagues. We stand each other.
I think we will have to wrap it up there. But yes, thank you so much, Prajakta. Thank you. I think for anyone who's a fan of Mismatch or you, this is an insanely cool place.
I'm so excited for everybody to see the season is mad.
No, we definitely look forward to seeing season 2 and everything else you have lined up, on the acting
Thank
side as a content creator and everything else.
Thank you so much, Sachin.
No, it's wonderful to have you. And yes, we look forward to what's coming our way. Thank you so much.